What is up, everyone? It is your boy Farai, and today we're going to pretty much be doing kind of like a summing up video. I mean, I've done 100 videos on YouTube. Most of them are beats, probably, but we'll be touching on a lot of stuff in this video. So if you are kind of watching this not at home or something, feel free to just add it to your watch me later and check it out. You might want to listen to the whole thing. You can chill out, kind of listen to a podcast. Type vibe. So I've written down a whole bunch of bullet points today just to kind of cover a bunch of the questions we get reoccurring on the channel, kind of as people join in on this whole thing that we're doing. So the first thing that the whole title of this video is how to become a better artist and person. In my opinion, I've been doing this for probably like 6 years, and I'll just be touching on some of the things that I've learned to become a better musician, as well as just engineer in the field. So if you are really serious about taking music as a profession, you can kind of tune in. If you make music just for recreation, music is a great tool for kind of keeping busy. Even if you're not going to become a professional, you don't aim for that. It's always cool to pick up a guitar or a microphone, and we got tools like FL Studio to kind of just make some magic. So I'm just gonna get comfortable just moving the mic around and whatnot. So the first thing that I would recommend, if you're just starting up or if you are experienced but you're just kind of not happy with the way that you're recording, these are a few things that I would firstly look up, and then we'll kind of go into the aesthetic of things. But just as a technical note, I've received quite a few mixes now, and a lot of the time I realized that a lot of people seem to be recording with a high latency. Now this can all seem like science to somebody who's not really interested in kind of the administrative side of recording music, right? So as you can see, I'm recording this video at 8 milliseconds because it's just not nice to hear a delay in your voice. It will kind of put you off, and a lot of the times when artists are rapping, they don't even realize that they got this delay on their voice, so everything that they record is kind of a few milliseconds backwards, and that can really hurt the aesthetic of your song. So that's the first thing, kind of a technical thing. And let's get into the more fun stuff, really. So the first thing that I would kind of look at, I tell artists and whatnot when we recording songs, or if I give someone a beat, it's kind of just get the vibe of the song. So I've kind of had this theory that I've been thinking of for a while, and I see music in two dimensions, right? So I'll kind of pull this up on the screen, but I see music vertically. So vertically would be this, right? So we've got our notes. As you can see, this beat right now, and I'll show this later because pitch is something that people always ask about. Put the phone on silent. The scale of a song goes up and down, right? Because we've got different frequencies. Each note is a different frequency. As you can see here with picture, A is 440, I think, 440 hertz. So that's, everything has a scale. So that's how I see things vertically. And when I talk about vertically, I'm talking about the harmonic of a song, right? So if you haven't trained your ear to hear how chords work and chord changes, you don't have to know anything about music theory, but you just need to know when you are in like kind of tune with the song and not in tune with the song. That's the first thing that can kind of set the level between someone who's a complete amateur and someone who kind of has trained their ear in a way like that. And then the second one is obviously, everyone keeps asking about ad-libs. Ad-libs sits on the horizontal plane of music, right? So that's the timing. So as you can see, I've kind of broken this beat up into different colors, and you can see here the green section, is the chorus of the song, right? And we can count bars. I make beats, so I know how to count bars. The chorus would kind of either start on a song generally at bar 9, or bar 17, or wherever the case. House music, the kind of build-ups to the song could start a lot later. Deep house, the bass kicks in way later. But it's kind of just learning the different sections of music, right? So as you can see here, we've got the intro, right? Intro would just be a kind of intro to the whole song, and then as you build up to the chorus, so that's the chorus of the song. So, that's how you should kind of standard see music. I don't really know too much about music theory. I just kind of have played within FL Studio for many years, so that's the way I kind of see it. So I'll just quickly touch on picture, because a lot of people, and at the same time I'll just talk about those who are using this recording template. a lot of people ask, how do you route the audio so that it actually records to the channel? And as you can see, I've got this YouTube kind of channel over here, and I've routed it to this hook. So as you can see, it is routed to there. So now when I enable record and I record, right? So I'll just record. Mic check, test 2 1 2. Okay, so now once that has been recorded, right? The cool thing about FL is, look, it's been automatically routed to channel 2, because I've chosen to route that channel to channel 2 beforehand. So although I'm recording this channel dry, well, these plugins, but I mean, let's just say it was dry, I'm able to record with Autotune and pretty much not embed the recording with Autotune, you know what I'm saying? So let's just give it a test so you can see it in person. I'll just freestyle. I'm just riding with my squad. Yeah, I'm just riding with my squad. I'm just riding with my squad. Yeah, yeah, you know what I'm saying? So cool. So now at least I know if I decide later on, oh no, I've recorded the auto-tune wrong, you can just turn it off, and then you can just realize that, hey, boom, I'm just riding with my squad. You know what I'm saying? I'm pretty much not set up for recording, so that sounds really bassy and weird, but you get the idea. It's not too hard. So yeah, that pretty much covers that. Yeah, I'm just kind of checking out these bullet points over here. And yeah, the second thing is quality-wise, right? So when you're starting off, kind of have a picture in your head of what type of sound you're going for. That's definitely something that a few people get confused with. So I take a sip, a drink. And yeah, I mean, if you look at kind of the far side of rap right now, which is the underground, you can get away with quite a lot. You can get away with, really dirty 808s, really kind of grimy production, and etc., etc. Yeah, you can pretty much do whatever you want, but if you are going to record yourself, you're probably going to be pretty critical about how your quality sounds. And I mean, that's the way I learned. I recorded myself a lot. I mixed everyone in the neighborhood's music until I felt like I was comfortable with understanding all of these things to make sure that the process of making music is nice and easy, and you can come out with a decent product that you are happy with. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that pretty much touches on the quality. The next thing I'll talk about is investing in yourself. You know what I'm saying? If you are really interested in doing this as a career, you're gonna have to cut out partying too much a lot of the times, man. When you buy alcohol and cigarettes and whatever, you're paying a lot of tax on those items. So things like that, going to the club and all that, it is fun and all, and it is good to socialize. But at the same time, if you, for example, are still in school and you get pocket money, don't spend all your money on, for example, whatever you eating out, whatever it is. Always save a little bit. Learn how to, because this will help you in life in general, not just in music, but learning how to invest in yourself and investing in your craft. You know what I'm saying? I have pretty much spent all my money ever on music stuff. Obviously clothes and the normal stuff, but mostly on music stuff because I've got the passion for it. You know what I'm saying? So even if it's not music, if it's, for example, car racing or whatever, save up until you have what you need to really, get yourself out there. You know what I'm saying? And with music, it's really easy because, this is the first time ever where, we've been able to pretty much build our own studios. Up until let's just say the 1980s and 1990s, it was almost impossible to kind of record a studio quality album or project or even single without going through a commercial kind of studio, and those were pretty expensive back then. You had to print a tape. It was just a whole hassle, and record labels were quite in charge of those things. So there was a good chance you weren't going to get out there. But nowadays, I mean, you look at someone like me, you look at someone like any other kind of smaller YouTuber out there, we've been able to have access to the whole world. You know what I'm saying? As long as your product is good, as long as what you put out there is good stuff. You know what I'm saying? So pay for your beats if you're an artist, pay for your software, if you're an engineer, and you'll get good karma, good vibes. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, I mean, that's pretty much that on investing in yourself. I mean, also investing the time. You know what I mean? Yeah, the second thing I'd really speak about is building a team. You know what I mean? And that's not just about getting a manager. I mean, I'll kind of touch on that now, but more so when building a team is really like checking out your friendship circle. Kind of when you're in high school, you tend to hang out with anyone really. I mean, in primary school, but as you kind of go to high school, you start kind of figuring out who your real friends are and whatnot. And I think the real world is like that as well. You can't be hanging out with people that are going to sway you from what you're doing, you know what I mean, what you want to do as a career, what you are passionate about, you know what I'm saying. So it's learning where to cut certain people off at certain times, you know what I'm saying, just to say, yo, I need the space to be able to create some music or whatever, and in terms of the music world, if you look at the top artists, they've all got a go-to engineer, they've all got a go-to beat maker or a group of beat makers. You look at Future and Metro Booming, and they kind of create these circles of people that are kind of in sync with each other's visions, you know what I'm saying? So I think it's really important to kind of figure that out. And yeah, damn, I'm going to be speaking for so long. I'm not used to speaking this long ever. And pretty much I wanted to speak on management as well. If you're an artist and you really don't like dealing with the business side of things, you don't like, for example, a venue asks you, okay, how much are you going to charge to perform at the show? And you kind of scared to say, yo, in your mind, you kind of know, okay, I'll do this show for $500, let's say. And you don't feel comfortable with negotiating that deal, and you feel like, you get taken advantage of. In the industry, sadly, that happens to a lot of, people that might be more easily intimidated. People try and bully, let's just say, female artists if they don't have management. Rather get somebody who will be able to negotiate those deals to the best possibility, you know what I'm saying? So know your worth in terms of those things. So yeah, the next thing that I kind of want to speak on in terms of the whole doors and management before I kind of, this was never locked. Before I kind of go on to the next level of things is, use the internet. I mean, YouTube is crazy full of resources. Everything I've ever learned is either from a few select books that I've decided to read. I only did 1 month of college. I'm not really proud of saying that I did drop out of college, but, I went straight to interning, you know what I'm saying? Like, I only dropped out of college because I got an internship. And that was kind of a risk, but, whatever path you take, stick to it, you know what I'm saying? And YouTube is one of the best places to learn. I'm currently studying acoustics online, and, I found great resources on that. There's acoustic fields, it's like way over my head, but I'm learning, you know what I'm saying? So I would hope you are doing the same with making beats or, I'm saying a lot, whatever. I'm going to edit them all out. Whether that's recording your vocals, mixing your own stuff, just stay motivated and take what you need as well, because a lot of the times you might find a video where you disagree with certain things, but even if you disagree with 90% of the video, and you agree with 10%, take that 10% and learn from it, and learn from the 90%. Why didn't you like something in a video? And it's pretty easy that way. So yeah, the next thing I kind of want to talk about, obviously, is just going back to the whole music vibe thing. People are really talking about like ad-libs and all that. And really, it's up to you. As I say, it's all about the vibe. If you, start to feel for yourself, because we're all unique. You might have a way of doing things that no one else can do, and that's going to make you really stick around, So I'll just kind of give you an example of counting bars, and you can kind of take it from there. So this is how it'll go. I'll just turn the beat down. Okay, so the next part of things is really like, this is kind of like awkward for me to speak about, but, you know what I'm saying? I don't really speak about these kinds of things. I'm just your average Joe guy. I'm just speaking my appearance. But, if you really want to be an artist, in my opinion, you need to have your Zen right. You know what I'm saying? So how you have your Zen right, I'm just calling it Zen. You can call it whatever you want, your spirituality, or whatever you believe in. You need to have a positive balance of things, right? So the most important thing in music, especially in any art, right? If you're a painter, if you're a photographer, is to keep your mind healthy, right? And that really means staying healthy, exercising a bit, all those kinds of things. If you do a little bit of everything, your mind will always be ready to create more. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, it's sad when you see a lot of talent kind of waste their talent by, becoming drug users or, doing things like that. So that kind of touches on the next topic, which is, taking caution with drugs, As artists and as creatives and, anybody in any field, lawyers and whatever, there is always like a temptation to use drugs, and that's cool. As long as you are old enough to understand these sorts of things. I just think as the hip-hop industry especially, I find it quite sad how, drugs are really glamorized, especially like in 2000 and let's say, 13, 14, 15 up. things are kind of getting out of hand where, and then you see it on social media, you see it everywhere. I'm running out of breath like crazy. But yeah, I mean, it's up to you really. I would say stay away from hard drugs like cocaine or crack, all those sorts of weird things. But I'm sure you know that. I mean, if you're on YouTube listening to this, I'm pretty sure you got your stuff together. So yeah, the next thing I would want to talk about is, to do with your own music. And this is, being honest with the stories you tell, for example. You could say like, we see a lot of rap where, people are claiming to have, let's say, shot like 100 people or whatever. And I mean, it's cool, like we all watch movies like Scarface and violent movies and stuff like that. And it is cool, right? I mean, we do as humans like kind of, what is the word here? Confrontation and kind of like exaggerated violence and, action movie type stuff. But when it comes to music, I think at the end of the day, I've always heard certain like rock stars and guitarists always talk about this, but they say at the end of the day, they have to play that song for the next 10 years, you know what I'm saying? So a perfect example in the hip-hop realm is 2 Chainz. I've been listening to 2 Chainz since Duffel Bag Boy. I'm sure a lot of you have as well, checking out the demographic of the channel. But 2 Chainz has been an artist that has been able to retain the same story and integrity, but also become better along the way, right? So we've kind of seen, his story stays the same. He's talking about his like upbringing and whatever and his hustle. And it's always been transparent, So 2 Chainz is someone you can kind of take guidance from, in my opinion. I do, you know what I'm saying? I listen to a lot of 2 Chainz. And yeah, I mean, you can always twist the story, but, make sure that you're happy with it at the end of the day and you're aware of the impact that it might have on the listeners, you know what I'm saying? If you want to make fans and people that you can kind of call your friends and whatever, you want to be having a really transparent story in a way, that makes it seem more authentic as well. Cool. The next thing that I would say is, this is my new motto. I've been watching, I forget who, there's a mix on YouTube, but he says, being a student of the game, and I'm definitely a student of the game. I don't ever say for example, I've learned everything, because for the rest of my life, I want to be studying sound and trying to understand more about this field, because I am passionate about doing this. So that's how you should, if not already, your mindset should be like that. Just kind of always wanting to progress and being able to take criticism as well. A lot of the time I see when I kind of skim, the real underground of YouTube, with artists with like 20 plays or whatever, and they might have a negative comment there. Or even this random guy on Facebook that has invited me twice now. I don't know who he is, but, he invites people on Facebook, right? And then asks them to listen to his music. And then when you give him critique on the music, he like gets angry. So, I don't really know. I think learning to take criticism, because with every comment that someone makes, there is some sort of truth in it, even if it is covered by, their own kind of hatred or self-hate or whatever. There is always a truth to it. So yeah, the next thing that I would talk about is being unique. And I think that's something really important in today's game where, there is really a set formula for making kind of a hit song these days. The only thing that separates everyone is their uniqueness. Trap beats, interesting enough, have been in for like longer than people expected. People expected trap beats to die down 2 years ago. Is trap dead? You remember seeing all those kind of news posts, but what does the news know? It's the artists that make the music, so, and the people that consume the music and make it profitable. So I think the most important thing is finding yourself an artist that you can really relate to. Like, for example, if you really believe in Jay-Z's ethics, right? I mean, who doesn't? Kind of write down what you think his best characteristics are and then apply those to your life, right? So instead of trying to rap like Jay-Z, you take his characteristics, right? Because that's not hard to... No one can really say, oh, you copied Jay-Z's characteristics, right? Because that's not a bad thing, right? But if you kind of spend all your time trying to sound like Jay-Z, you're wasting your time then, and you can see that with rock music as well. You've got guitarists that will try and emulate other guitarists, their whole life. And, why not try and, take time every day to find your own kind of guitar sound, for example, So that's the same with rap, is, finding the beats that you like and, paving a way for yourself, because at the end of the day, you look at artists like Wiz Khalifa, right? He was doing the stoner stuff since Star Power. I remember that tape with Johnny Giuliano. Johnny Giuliano, if anyone remembers, that's old school stuff. But old school YouTube stuff. But yeah, I mean, he was doing the stoner stuff years ago, and look at him now. He's got the highest stream song ever on YouTube, right? I mean, obviously, you know, with Fast and Furious and whatever, and rest in peace, Paul Walker. But, you know, you can really put yourself in great positions if you focus on being yourself. You know, Wiz, I guess at the time he was doing the Trap Wiz thing, but that was the only time I've ever seen Wiz kind of, you know, join in on what the industry was doing, you know? And, you know, that goes back to building a team. I mean, Wiz has got one of the best teams out there. You can see how well they do. You can see he's never kind of stressed. You know, his business is taken care of. His music always sounds good. You know, the quality is good. He's got ID Labs and those guys that mix for him. You know, Sledge Ricardo, my favorite producer, you know. Because at the end of the day, you can be gone tomorrow if your music is kind of only part of the wave. You know, waves in hip hop last how long these days? You know, you don't even know. And there's new artists coming every day. So yeah. The next thing would obviously just be, keeping your business right. You know, doing good, honest business. You know, there's no point in, you know, a lot of the time people will try and cheat each other, especially in the music business. And I think that's kind of silly. You know, because at the end of the day, I feel like if you can survive off the arts, of any arts, right? So whether that's, as I said, being a graphic designer, being a video editor, being a photographer, whatever, if you can survive and not have to work for anyone else doing that, that is the best thing ever. So, you know, do good business. You know, if you want to study music business, right? If you want to become kind of like a Leo, you know, a Russell Simmons or whatever, you can do that, you know, but, you know, do good business, but be hard with your business, you know what I'm saying? Don't let people kind of walk all over you because, you know, at the end of the day, they're messing with your longevity, you know what I'm saying? If you've got people to feed, you know what I'm saying? If your parents aren't working or whatever, or you got kids or whatever, you know, you need to be tough in this game, because at the end of the day, you know, everyone else is doing that as well, but you don't want to be a shark at doing that, you know what I'm saying? And yeah, that's pretty much like everything. Just the last point is, you know, enjoy doing this. You know, if you make a couple $100 here and there for music, that's amazing, right? I mean, I love it. Like I used to work in a commercial studio, and I would have higher ups, you know, who would tell me what to do, and you know, we were dealing with corporations, right? So for example, if I rendered a piece of audio out, right, so let's just say we had an advert, this was an advert right here, and the pricing over here was let's just give this another color. Let's just say this was the pricing over here, right? And I exported this audio, right? So this was the whole advert, and this pricing was wrong. Then like the company could lose millions, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, you don't want to be dealing with that kind of stuff. You want to be in charge of your own decisions. That's just my obviously my take on it, you know. Me being able to make my own decisions is what I want to do. If you want to do something else, you want to go work for example, like I would definitely work at Patchwork Studios, that's in Atlanta. You know, those kind of things, set goals for yourself and enjoy doing it, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, I hope this video kind of answered some of the underlying questions that people were asking, you know what I'm saying? I think a lot of YouTubers, especially the tech kind of YouTubers, aren't really that, I mean, not honest, but you know, they won't go in too much depth on these kinds of things, and I think that's something that the music YouTube game needed, you know what I'm saying? I'll try to do more of these. You know, if you enjoyed the video, feel free to comment your perspective on things. If there's a bullet point you like somewhere here, just kind of scribble all this down. Excuse me. But yeah, if there's something you like, if there's any topics that you would like me to speak about it, and again, you know, at the end of the day, this is just my experiences, right? I'm just kind of speaking about life and stuff like that. And yeah, thank you. 100 videos, 755 subscribers, you know what I'm saying? And yeah, we're all in it together. You know, post your channel, let me check your channel out. I will be doing a video I think soon, where I'll just leave that video there for you to post links, you know, and we'll be able to all check out the music and whatnot. So yeah, hope you enjoyed. It is your boy Farai, and you can lease this beat. I think someone might buy it soon, but you know, if it's still available, you can go for it. You can purchase FL Studio templates and whatever. Help support the channel. Peace out.